Welcome to another edition of Between Two Fars with Robert Tepfer, and I'm Warneke Miller. Today, Bob, who has had a career of over 44 years in federal procurement, is going to tell us a little bit about the basics of contracting officers. Bob, what is their role and why are they significant?
Okay, contracting officer, and this is very important to know and appreciate. Having been a buyer a long time ago, and had to fulfill some of the needs of a contracting officer, do things for them, I have a genuine appreciation. Contracting officers have to work with pricing. They have to understand the needs so they can put it down in a contract. They have to work on Department of Labor issues. They have to understand the law. They have to go to school for all these disciplines. It is a very complicated issue, and they have to get it right.
Can anybody just sort of like come out of college and be a contracting officer, or do they have to go through some sort of certification process?
Yeah, they ultimately they get trained. One of the things I had to look at and put in my 2 cents here is to certain people being nominated for it. A lot of times they have an MBA, and you have a history of work that they have performed as a contract specialist. You end up with a very healthy respect for what they do, because they have to keep a program director happy. They have to keep legal happy. They have to make certain they get a fair and reasonable price, and they have to make certain that the Department of Labor is happy. It's a very difficult job. That's why our job is to provide them a spectrum of options, because in juggling these various considerations, we may be sitting here saying this is really the only sane thing to do, but their program office may say it simply doesn't satisfy my needs. For that reason, you should really try to understand those needs and try to figure out the best method. There's a spectrum of contracting authority. Contracting authority shows up in the procurement contracting officer, or PCO, as a warrant. A lot of times we have cores, which we used to call technical representatives, or contracting officers representatives. These are people that are the eyes and ears of the contracting officer out in the field.
Okay.
They also have...
Now, are they warranted individuals, or is...
They have a delegation of authority.
Okay.
We also have, if you want to get yourself into litigation, you find out very quickly about field engineers and inspectors who have very limited authority. But when the contracting officer puts them in a position where they have to make momentary decisions, the contracting officer may find that they have authority as a result, or implied authority from that position that they've been put into. They do not have, and you want to stay away from arguments of apparent authority, but for those who want to point to implied authority from being in that position, it can be an academic argument very quickly.
So as a contracting officer, you've also got this responsibility, this obligation to manage and monitor those who have been delegated some authority under the contract that you're managing.
Yes, that's right, but realistically, the system seems to understand that complexity. So when you have a PCO creating the initial contract together with the SSA, that individual may not be the contract officer during contract administration, who will have a different perspective and different sensitivity. It's so interesting to see the CO's responsibility, because all aspects of negotiation fall in that person in an effort to create the best value, or the fair and reasonable price, all those considerations. And they have to make decisions with regard to the competitive range. You'll see that the FAR says the competitive range is set by the contracting officer. The SSA may be an SES, but the contracting officer may be only a 13. But the responsibility for many different things, even the signing of the contract, the determination of responsibility, which is capacity, capability, and integrity, that belongs to the contracting officer.
That FAR Part 9 responsibility you're talking about?
Absolutely.
Can this source selection official direct them on that responsibility determination?
No, absolutely not. In many instances, on issues like regarding cost accounting, or whether or not their accounting system is adequate, the SSA is not even advised of that, because they're focused, as they should be, on the application of the criteria as set out in the solicitation.
All right, so as attorneys, we need to respect our contracting officers and the myriad of responsibilities and obligations and pressures that they're under as they seek to achieve the procurement of our dreams.
Absolutely.
Remember, legal advisors are only one of the voices that they have to listen to. So let's support our contracting officers and make sure that we can be part of the bigger procurement team. Join us again next time for Between Two Fars.